Yes, still epic. I appreciate that theme song indeed. So Ask Chunt. This comes from Rammanajar. I hope I said that correct and haven't butchered it completely. So with so much hype just dead for the MCU, where do you think the movies could go from here? Will it ever reach the highs again? Okay. I put this question in here because I was going to talk about Captain America, Brave New World. So just it lined up. So that's why. So good timing, man. I had that one there for a while, then it's now finally circled around to it. So thank you kindly as my fire alarm beeps in the background. So, okay, where do I think it's going to go? So if we look at what the MCU's done so far, they've essentially condensed the most popular storylines in Marvel comic books into 10 years instead of over 60 or however many years it was at that time. They've tackled Infinity Gauntlet, which is the biggest one that people know of. There's Secret Invasion that's in there. I don't think they've done Siege yet. There's still War of the Realms that they could do. There's a bunch of... they've done Age of Ultron. I know there's a lot of Avengers stories that they could do that's happened over the years. Like I mentioned last week, the George Perez and Kurt Busiek. Oh my God, I can never say that name correctly. Like that run has a lot in there with Kang and Wonder Man, all that kind of stuff, which I think they might be getting into soon in the MCU. And obviously, Secret Wars, like that's coming. All right, so all of this is happening. But I say that, but there's still a lot of material from X-Men, Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, right? All of that that they could delve into. That's cosmic spanning as well, just like Avengers is like they've done that, right? There's the Annihilation Wave, the Annihilation and Conquest and all that stuff. War of Kings. I mean, just the X-Men lore itself will keep the MCU going, or if it lives, it'll keep that going between Fantastic Four and X-Men for at least a good 10 years if they do it right. There are a lot of stories in there, like Onslaught, what's it, Age of Apocalypse, if they do that. Mutant Massacre, like just if you look at what they're doing with the X-Men 97 show, imagine if they did that, but on the big screen. I know they tried to already with the Fox X-Men movies, but they kind of butchered that, not going to lie. I mean, they've tried to do Dark Phoenix, I think, 3 times now. They've done Days of Future Past already. So there are still some key stories that they can pull from Marvel. Unfortunately, there's a lot of Spider-Man ones that they probably won't get to for many reasons that most of us probably already know already, which is unfortunate. If they could really get something done with Spider-Man and own that would be amazing. I kind of like the Tom Holland movies. I think that they went too big too fast, and I know that's because they wanted him in the Avengers movies and they didn't know how much they'd get to use him or if they'd be able to continue using him because of all the deals and stuff like that, contracts falling through and whatnot. So they just said, let's just throw Spider-Man and everything while we've got him. But you've missed that whole opportunity to do what Spider-Man is, right? He's this street level essentially character, like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like he's got his rogues gallery that's not always the end of the world all the time. They've missed the whole run of the 90s that they can pull through from, and they butchered it with the Venom films, Maximum Carnage. They can't really go back and do that anytime soon and do it properly. The Clone Saga, they'll probably never do, right? Brand New Day, let's hope they never do that. Or One More Day, whatever it is. Brand New Day. Anyway, look, there is a lot. There's so much they can do with the MCU instead of pulling from characters that nobody cares about. How about they just go full hog? I mean, X-Men. I mean, you've got so much. I just said you've got a lot of X-Men lore that you can pull from and build that universe around. I've always thought as like the Marvel comics, you've either got Spider-Man, Avengers, and X-Men as the big things that are going on in the MCU. You could read X-Men and not read another Marvel comic book and still have your own massive story, massive lore, spanning events, world earth-shattering stuff, just in X-Men on its own, right? You don't need Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man and all that kind of stuff to carry the Marvel movies along, right? Ideally, it'd be great, but I don't think that's realistic. And we're seeing that coming full force now ever since Endgame. Well, the MCU seemed very aimless ever since, and it's very noticeable. So anyway, like I think it'll reach some highs if they do it well. I mean, I think there's Secret Wars that's happening. So you got Doomsday and Secret Wars coming up. I mean, that's just going to be, if you know what Secret Wars is, from what I know of the Jonathan Hickman run from 2015, whenever it was, that was a cataclysm or convergence of two worlds, two timelines, two Earths, all that kind of stuff, and that's how you got Miles Morales into the mainline comics 616 universe, and so forth and so on. So who knows, right? We're probably going to get a lot of Ultimate Universe stuff, Ultimate Comics. I mean, we already do in the MCU. There's a lot of Ultimate influence in there, but probably more so coming up, I would surmise. But I just don't be surprised if they decided to just do a soft reboot on everything. I think some of that's been rumored anyway. But what are you going to do? Part of the reason, I mean, you have to admit, part of the reason they got Robert Downey Jr. to come back, even if it's not Iron Man, is just to kind of get some of that familiarity and hype back into the MCU. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Good question. I think if they do it right, they'll reach the highs again. Just to answer your last part of that question there. But I do think they've peaked. Endgame was peak. Like, I don't know how you get back there without building that fan base, building the audience, building that trust again. Like they did the first time, with actually characters that they care about and that are treated well, because they're just not doing that. And telling good stories, which a lot of the recent stuff isn't. It's all ancillary, it's all stretched out, it's all watered down, it's all thin, right? Whereas they could have condensed a lot of these projects into shorter movies or shorter stories and made it more impactful, right? Like they've done before, but because of streaming, everything's got to be 6 or 10 episodes or whatever, and there's a lot of filler in there. And anyway, that's a whole other discussion. But anyway, hopefully it answers your question and gives some insights into how I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'd love to see, man, I'd love to go into another Avengers movie, or another Spider-Man or Iron Man or something, another Captain America movie, which I'll talk about this one coming up. Be that excited about, what's next? Like, I can't wait to see what they're doing next, where they're taking this, right? And those big moments, right? I haven't felt that in a very long time in these Marvel movies or shows. So let's see how they go. I will remain optimistic. Anyway, cool. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. As I said before, if you would like to submit a question and have my thoughts on whatever that is, just tag me at Uncle Chunt on whatever social platform you're on, and hashtag Ask Chunt, and I'll keep a record, and I'll circle around to your question when I do. Awesome. All right. So that was a shorter. Last time I went on and on and on because it opened up a kettle of worms for me, can of worms, talking about all kinds of stuff. So that was a bit more of a shorter answer to your question there. So hopefully you appreciate it. Like I alluded to before, the Captain America angle, Brave New World, is what I'm going to talk about now. So let's get just right into it, shall we?